Welcome to the channel for the first time. Viewers, welcome back for my existing subscribers. In this video, I'm going to discuss what I did with this budget build that I've been kind of working on, the Battle Box 2, and kind of what led me to end up going back to Nvidia for both cards, right? So it started off like this. It was a Sunday after, no, I was playing. I went through, built everything I needed. I was doing a lot of switching back and forth between my 2080 from the Intel build to the AMD build. For those that didn't know, I built a AMD Ryzen 5 3600, used my 16 gigs of RAM that I already had, Corsair, obviously 3000 megahertz RAM, and I got a new power supply. I got an SSD for the OS. I use an external SSD for the games just to make it a little bit easier. As I get more money, I'll probably end up buying a bigger internal SSD, like a regular 2.5 inch one. But anyways, I went through, did all this mess, right? And what I found is that the AMD, the graphics card I ended up picking was the 5600 XT, right? It was the XFX Raw 2. Got a great deal, sold my Elite controller, ended up picking that one up. The Radeon Relive software is still horrendous. It was a blast to set up. It was the best time, dude. Like, I couldn't explain how much fun I had setting that thing up. But no, honestly, it wasn't that hard to set up. It just was not a good experience. When I went to go record my clips, it didn't work well. When I tried to record in games, half the time it didn't work. It was choppy. And I had to tweak a lot of settings just to make it work. A lot of things that I became used to, because I only had 2 Nvidia cards. I mean, this is like my 4th graphics card overall, right? I started with the RX580, never knew the difference. I just knew it recorded better than my Xbox, right? Then I went to the GTX 1080, and that was my first real big step up. So that, I was like, man, this shadow play thing is serious. So recording, gameplay, it was fantastic. Now, one thing I will say in the midst of saying all this about that 5600 XT, the FPS was actually better. It was almost as good as my 2080 when I was playing Warzone with that Ryzen 5, right? Because remember, I was switching that 2080 between the Ryzen 5 and I play at 1440p, not 1080p. So it's a little bit closer of a gap than if I were to, you know, switch it to 1080p or something lower, where a more powerful system is definitely going to outperform, right? But in games, fantastic. It ran well. I did have to do a lot of tweaking to get it to run well. You have to turn on the esports mode, the Radeon image sharpening. There's some cool features that AMD is kind of rolling with, so I'm kind of interested to see what they come out with next for their graphics cards, because this one I'm just going to chalk it up as a fluke, right? The features were really cool. Image sharpening was A1. It actually did 75% render scale, so the game, instead of being at 1440p, was at 1080p. But it looked as good as 1440p with the image sharpening. So think DLSS 2.0 from Nvidia. And because of that, I actually tried the same thing on my Nvidia GPU. The Nvidia image sharpening, it just doesn't look as pristine as when AMD does it. So AMD did a real solid job there. I'm going to try to include some benchmarks from that graphics card. The main thing, here's what I would say. I ended up switching to a 2060 Super, which is, it's not bad. It's not as fast as far as rendering and FPS as the 5600 XT. But if you are a content creator, it does have the new codec to handle encoding video and running things like streams much better, right? So all my, like literally from the moment I snapped it in there, every recording has been spot on, 0 issues, 0 lag, 0 stutter. I don't get random spikes and stutters in the game, which I did get. It has 8 gigabytes of VRAM, so you can actually play Warzone on the norm or on the high or normal texture settings. Because what would happen on the 5600 XT is that Warzone, which is a game that blows my mind. I like playing it, but the game has 215 gigs and it uses more than 6 gigs of VRAM, which is like, why, right? But it actually bleeds over that amount. So if you have 8 gigs of VRAM, you might be closer to 7 of actual usage, which is why we all get that glitch for the PC side of the players, that glitch that says that you're reaching maximum VRAM usage that started Season 5. So overall, if you're just going to be gaming, you're just going to pick it up, play some games, I would say turn on the esports mode and roll with the 5600 XT. It's fantastic. But if you do want to do content creation, you got to go with the Nvidia card. Well, obviously you don't have to, but it's just everything that I needed for my usage was just that much better. So all the recording was better. Like I said, just literally it pulled over from when I was swapping out my 1080. It already had the graphics card drivers in there. It loaded up and said, hey, you have a 2060, right? Boom. Plugged it in, update all my information, and I didn't have to do anything. I just literally my same shortcuts, everything I needed that was set up before just worked, right? And like I said, the FPS was a little bit worse than the 5600 XT, which is kind of a bummer. But it's like one of those trade-offs that you kind of have to make, because it's like, okay, well, I can actually record with this one, where I tried to record on the other one, my game would stutter or it just would not do anything. It was just crazy, man. It was a bad experience. It kind of brought me back to when the audio was choppy and it would stutter, and I was like, yeah, I can't live with this again. Like that, it's just, I don't know, man. It could have been just that one card. I was very tempted looking into the 5700 XT, because that's their top of the line card, but it's just one of those things where I'm not too sure, man. And I really don't want to go back to that 2018 me where I was like fighting with a 580 to try to get just my content to work properly. But that is my take. That's why I ended up switching back. Hopefully this video, it's kind of just a this is what happened type of video. It's not necessarily a you should do this or you should do that. This is just what I ended up doing and why I ended up doing it. But hopefully it helps somebody out that's kind of on the fence of making a new build, because I wanted to keep it to a budget 1440p build that I started doing more benchmarks on this channel. So hopefully that helps you guys out. Be easy. I'll catch you in the next video.
They hit us hard that time. We will settle the score.
Oh wow, he's got this.
Friendly precision airstrike. HQ online. Get moving. Stand by. HQ contested. Friendly control get updated. Stand by. Friendly precision airstrike. HQ contested. Enemy. They're taking the HQ. HQ contested. Enemy at the bridge. Precision airstrike on the way. Enemy at the bridge.
Wow.
Friendly gunner on Overwatch. Weapons up.
No, he's still on it. Shit. All behind us.
Friendly counter Time's running out. This is Builder 2-0, good copy. Cluster strike away. Thunder 1-1 arriving on the position.
Disabled, get ready to move out. New location on the way, stand by. Location confirmed, through the HQ.
Let's redact. This is Thunder, we need to refuel. I wish you luck.
This is Scoresman, heading back for a supply. Good hunting. HQ online. Get
Check profile.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Some dudes down at the loadout. He just picked those up.
package.
Left, let's go.
Dubs is trying to tell me some shit. I don't know what he wants me to check. Never mind.
Enemy dropping into the AO.
You got one?
That wasn't directed towards you, that was directed towards Barner King King. He was asking a question.
Oh.
Towards the regiment chat.
Oh shit, right here, dude.
I got you.
Yikes.
Good shit.
Sucks, that sucks, brother.
Oh shit, sniper.
I'm
White,
Enemy
Top of
UAV
big white
overhead.
warehouse.
southwest,
I
yeah.
just got through.
Oh shit, he just shot at me.
Enemy UAV overhead.
Down.
I got you.
Still one more there.
Alright.
He's in the cubby.
Priming explosive.
Over.
Oh shit, he didn't shot at me.
Oh, the chopper, the sniper behind you, I think.
Yeah.
Look out!
Setting a charge.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Ah,